For more than a decade, FTI has strived to become the leader in the aftermarket performance transmission and converter industry. We've joined forces with McLeod Driveline Components under the leadership of Top Fuel Funny Car pilot Paul Lee, and now have a larger distribution network, more resources, and more power. Come see us in the pits and ask how you can join the FTI family. It's not cheating, it is the competitive edge.
It's time for an inside look at the most powerful motorsport on the planet. WFO Radio, NHRA Nitro. This is WFO Radio.
Hey, everybody. Welcome back to WFO Radio. Joe Castello here with you. Special day and time following up the NHRA Auto Club Finals, the final race of the 2022 season. What a season it was. We're going to recap the race winners and the event, the behind-the-scenes stories with Alan Reinhart, who is driving over the road somewhere out there in the country. Reinhart going to be joining us just minutes from now. But wow, what an event. I'll share some stories, of course. And I will tell you that I am not fully recovered. No, not recovered yet. All the West Coast, East Coast, back, forth. Maybe they call it jet lag, or maybe it's from staying up 24 hours a day, a few days in a row. I don't know. But we had such a great time out there. And of course, it's supposed to be fun. It's hard work. It's grueling. It's nonstop. But at the same time, it's fulfilling and it's amazing. And you're around, at least we are around these people who are doing just insane, amazing things, like going over and above and accomplishing in our world of drag racing. And I got to tell you, I've been doing this a fair amount of time now, more than 10 years. And this year, I think it lived up to the hype as the best year that I have seen. But then again, last year did too, and the previous year did too. And what does that tell you about NHRA drag racing and drag racing in general? That it just keeps getting better and better. And the storylines from Top Fuel, where Brittany Force wins the race, wins the championship race. Austin Prock wins the race. All kinds of sub stories, all of that. You could just dig deeper and deeper into it. David Grubnick, Max Savage, champions. Just amazing what they did and how Brittany was able to rise to the occasion. The competitors didn't get out of first round, and that's what championships are all about. Tough stuff. Who knew that it would be a round one done kind of thing? Funny car. Oh my goodness. Ron Capps, Dean Antonelli, John Medlin going off into retirement. This is it, the final opportunity. And in the final round, they sent it. And Capps is over and over again, and I will say over and over again, and we should all say over and over again. Like that run. There were bigger runs. The run where they got within 2 rounds of racing and qualifying, ran that 83 to take over the number 1 spot. That's the run of the race. Because that's what really made it possible. Seeing as they didn't win the final round. But the whole space-time continuum would have been different, of course. But Dean Antonelli and the guts. And, I want to say a different word than guts. Courage. The just being true to the game. My phone was blowing up with people telling me, like, they shouldn't run it, and the rule is dumb, and don't run the car, celebrate, pop the bottles in the pits, and just don't show up for the final round. And, that's a very debatable point. The math says that you've got it won. Why on earth would you go out there and risk everything? Risk it all. Why? The answer is because you're a drag racer and this is the finals at Pomona, and that's what you do. You go up there and you risk it all, and you go down the racetrack, and they did it and they won. Now, had they crossed the center line, people would be talking very differently about this, but that's not what happened, right? We'll talk about that. I want to remind everybody that WFO goes through the off season. We do not stop. We do take some breaks. We're going to have our WFO holiday party. I've already confirmed with Jason and Courtney that there's going to be some happy hour shows. We're going to catch up with all of our winners. We're going to catch up with all of the champions. So subscribe, click the bell. Those of you on YouTube, going to be doing some YouTube only stuff. The Ignition podcast is going to go right through the off season. We are going to slow down a little bit, move around based on our schedule. and continue to catch up with racers through the entire off season. But I got to tell you about the people who make it possible. Yes, Erica Enders, Greg Anderson, Matt and Angie Smith. Look, they're right here. Matt and Angie. I just find that to be so interesting that they both won the finals together. You're a married couple that races. What is better than that? One wins the championship, the other wins the race. Drop the mic, season over, see you later. What's better than that? They've got some great stats, the two of them. Just great. But in the Lucas Oil Series, Bob Locke winning Super Gas. What's up? That story, guys, like that alone, you could have a 30 for 30 on it. The guy's fighting health concerns. He's, in the championship hunt. He gets passed, and his friends rally around him. No, you must go. You must go. Here's gas money. You must go. All right, I'll go. And he goes and he wins. And he doesn't just win. He had to win the final event to win the championship. Winning one of these races is impossible. It's impossible. And yet he did it. Amazing. All right, here are the people who make it possible for me to go WFO. Thank you so much for allowing me the time to tell you about these folks, like Bernie's Speed Shop. I love Josh Hart's interview. He's like, people say my interviews are boring, but I'm just out here watching, and I'm coming back stronger next year. I thought that was so great. I think Josh Hart is building a fan base of people who are, the old Teddy Roosevelt thing, speak softly and carry a big stick. That's Josh Hart, right? There's a lot going on there. He says it was a sophomore slump. It wasn't a sophomore slump. They made a couple of final rounds. It's just the first full season. They didn't know how to race half of these racetracks. Now they do. But it's not about that. It's about Bernie's. We're going to try to go do a show from Bernie's during the winter break at some point up there in Ocala, Florida. Bernie's.com. Go to their website. Check out their inventory. You will be amazed at all the stuff that they've got at Bernie's.com, Bernie's Speed Shop. Phillips Connect. Wow. Smart trailer technology. The prime directive here. You've got trailers, trucks over the road. You got to keep them safe. You got to keep them on time. You got to keep the people around them safe. You got to know whether your loads are there, what's going on with the loads, all of that. What a presence in NHRA Drag Racing in 2022. Started off from a 3-race deal, and they went on to contend to the final race for the championship with Justin Ashley. And now they're on board for a couple of years. We're going to be seeing them. Mr. Epler came up with the idea of the 8th mile, 300 mile per hour club, and debuted it on WFO Radio. That was the first public discussion of it, which is why hopefully everybody subscribes and realizes that this show is, you get to, if you keep your ears open, you learn a lot of stuff that's going on here. But really, the folks at Phillips Connect, what a great first season of NHRA Drag Racing. Thank you, and we welcome them for being on the show. And if you're in the transportation industry, you definitely need to connect with those guys, find out what they're doing, and they can make your trucking and trailer industry a little bit better. FTIperformance.com. Wow. Torque converters, transmissions, for everything from Pro Mod, Top Dragster, Top Sportsman, .90, Big Money Bracket Racing to your very cool 78 Camaro Streetcar shift kit with a Turbo 350. They do it all, right? They have had such a winning season. And I'm very proud to speak about Paul Lee's company and, Greg Samuel, who invented FTI, DeLand, Florida. Just seeing all the people that are realizing that they are an industry leader, and I can't say enough great things about them, but it doesn't matter about how many great things I say. I've just got to keep saying their name again and again and again. And when you need a transmission or torque converter that is going to go in your car so you can go out and be at your best, you will realize that you need to give them a call, or at very least, entertain it. FTIperformance.com. Total Seal piston rings. Yeah, it's not over yet for Total Seal. We're going to be at the PRI trade show. We're going to be doing Hidden Horsepower live. Hopefully you're checking out Hidden Horsepower and the Apple podcast feed, as we're doing a lot of stuff from the Engine Performance Expo. But I think that more people know the importance of ring seal now than ever before. Once upon a time, and I'm not taking credit for this, a little bit. Once upon a time, the piston ring was something in your engine, and it was one of many parts. And I think, parts is parts. They're all important, right? But now, I think because of this great education campaign that we've embarked on in the past couple of years, the layman realizes that if you're going to spend money on something, you better spend money on your piston rings, because if you don't have ring seal, you got nothing. And that's what it's all been about. Amazing to see how much they've improved over the years. Their product, cutting edge, from Formula One to Stock Eliminator, even some in the Nitro ranks. TotalSeal.com. Appreciate them. And we'll be at PRI. I'll be at PRI. If you're going to be at PRI, get ready. I'm going to be giving you booths and times and where and when to be, so you can come in and hang out. But thanks to Total Seal, Matt Hartford finished 6th on the season. I'd call that a really good year. Improved on his previous total. Also, Marvin Rodak, RodaksCoffeeandGrills.com, the hot sauces and spice rubs. Christmas time, guys. Yeah, I know. Just go into Home Depot. You'll know. It's been Christmas in Home Depot for like a month, right? You need gifts for people that will impress and make them happy. Marvin Rodak can do that for you. 817-924-6821. Pound of coffee, bottle of hot sauce, container of spice rub. You just send that, right? People send those little, wrapped deli meats and everything. Forget that. Do this. Holiday pack with Marvin. It's a winner. I know it's a winner because I got people in the middle of the summer going, I ran out of the holiday pack and thank you for that. But where do I get? People love it. It's an experience. RodaksCoffeeandGrills.com. Frank Hawley's Drag Racing School, of course. The Dragster Adventure. I think it makes a great gift for the drag racing fan in your life. Someone who you want to know what it's really all about. Send them to Frank Hawley's. And, of course, samtech.edu, the School of Automotive Machinists and Technology. Great stuff. Appreciate them, and we'll see them at PRI as well. So I'm going to text Reinhart now. And Reinhart is going to call. In the meantime, let's get some comments up there. Let's see what people have to say here as we are going to, get together. This is Thursday, guys. I need you to share the show. Nobody knows we're on Thursday. WFO for 2022. What a season. Congrats to all the winners, respective NHRA champions. Britt, I never saw Britt out at the finals. Can you believe it? All day long we're out there, but I saw some great pictures. What's up, Britt? Troy is out there. Deep and Hawk is out there saying WFO, fast, steady. And there he is, Alan Reinhart. Let's pick it up. There he is. Who's out there on the WFO line?
It's me. You told me to call.
I told you to call. Yeah, it's just something you say at the beginning. What's up, Alan Reinhart? How are you doing today?
I am doing well. It is an absolutely beautiful day, and I'm out for a little leisurely cruise.
Yeah,
but I am on my hands-free device, not breaking any local or national laws.
That's right. And all you kids out there should listen to Alan Reinhart and not drive with your cell phone in your hand. You have a hands-free device. And we've seen his hands-free device when he's on the show, so we know exactly what he's doing, and it's great stuff. But you're out there, you're what? You're searching, you're combing the desert for parts for your CUDA? Like, what's going on there? Tell us what you can.
I'm on a CUDA run. I got spoke to a guy who had some stuff that going to help the project along, and he said, "When do you want to come get it?" I thought, why wait? So driving there today. It's about a 10-hour drive. I'm pick the stuff up and turn around and go back tomorrow, but it still make more sense than shipping it. So, but I'm in desperate need of a back seat. If anybody has a back seat, I don't care. I'm going to reupholster and recover it. But if anybody, you took the seat out of your CUDA, put a roll bar in it, threw the thing in the shed, and it's just been sitting there for 30 years, I'm searching for one.
There it is. Alan Reinhart is looking for a seat for his Barracuda. Listen, Alan, that's how we use the show for our personal benefit, okay? That's it. What's the point of having a show if you can't ask the audience for parts and pieces? Remember my GTO window problem? How do you think I got that solved?
Yeah.
I got it solved
Exactly.
with the show. All right, so we don't get to see your smiling face, but we see, I got a photo of you up on the phone line, Alan Reinhart. Just give me your take, the finals, the season. We'll have all off season long to dig into some of the, the champions are going to be coming up and all of that. So we don't have to do it all in one show. But now that we just concluded, Alan Reinhart, hot take on the Auto Club Finals.
I think the most impressive performance by somebody under pressure comes in as Bob Locke.
Yeah.
Who comes all the way from Indiana. It's a guy that very, very rarely goes outside of Division III. Comes all the way in from Indiana with a simple mission: win the race and you are the champion. Anything else and you're not. And knocked it down and beat a former world champion in the final round with, I believe, a dead 4 or dead 6 to win the championship. I thought that was impressive. I thought biggest turnaround in the last 3 weeks. Cruz Pedregon, holy smokes, does he have a good race car?
Wow.
Give him that car in, Reading, and boy, his countdown's going to look a whole lot different than what it looked this year. But what a performance he had. I think the stunning performance by a category, top fuel round one. I mean, there's no possible way Brittany locks the championship up in round one. Oh, wait, yes, she did. I mean, that just, doesn't seem possible. And hey, brother, could I get one run back? The Auto Club team for round number 2. How much do you think they'd like to try that again?
Yeah. Yeah.
And then there's will history repeat itself? Remember who finished number 2 in Pro Stock last year?
Yes.
And left with a massive chip on her shoulder and came back this year and just absolutely avenged everybody who annoyed her even a little bit along the way. And then Greg Anderson with a clutch win, finished second in the points. And if you don't think he's motivated, show me somebody that's more motivated than Greg right now. I'd like to meet that person. So that's my instant hot takes.
I love it. No, I think that was great. And obviously when we get back together, we'll do a little bit more. Let's just stay in Pro Stock, right? Where those two, Greg and Erica, connected forever, one way or another, right? Like respected rival, nemesis. I was fortunate enough to be down there when they came down. Greg won. And I even had the conversation about with Mr. Black leaving, with Ken Black retiring, and all the emotion connected. Like somehow the drag racing cosmos can find like what the right thing is. And they both walked away from that given weekend happy. Erica missed a tree. She had one word to describe it. I cannot say that word, but but to see them embrace on the top end and both walk away from 2022 with something of great importance to them was, I felt like the season was a total win when you look back and Erica's speech at the awards banquet was amazing. She did such a great job. And the final line, right? I'll see you in the last pair at Gainesville, qualifying last pair at Gainesville. Yep. That was, there was confidence. It's got a renewed sponsor for next year with Jason Johnson and Johnson's Horsepowered Garage. Just, at the end of the year, I look back at Pro Stock 2022 and I don't know how it could have been better.
No, it was pretty strong. I mean, Erica's complete dominance in an era where everybody's got horsepower, everybody's got a budget, everybody's got knowledge is amazing. But, how many times have we looked at it and go, well, look at the parity in this class. There's no way somebody's going to win 5 races this year. I'm sorry. How about 10? I mean, it just, there's always somebody who finds the little extra something. And there's no question about it. Erica ran roughshod over him this year. Can she come back and do it again? Well, she's certainly planning on it. But as I said, I think, Greg's got a big, big chip on her shoulder right now. And, since you mentioned Ken Black, it was a pretty good day for quitters.
Yeah.
Reynolds retiring, and he won. John Medlin retiring, and they won the championship.
Yep. Rahn Tobler.
Rahn Tobler's retiring. They won the race. I mean, it was a pretty good day for quitters.
Yeah, that's it, man. We should have had a fake microphone out there for them to drop. Obviously, we wouldn't have let them drop our expensive microphones, but they do. They walk away winners. And Greg has told us in the media center, that the announcement was that Rob Downing, Greg Anderson, because everybody cannot stay in the moment. I've already got people in our chat section. They want to know who's going to be the crew chief for Bob Tasca next year. Like every move, the dominoes fall in a different way. We're going to get to all of that, guys. That's what WFO in the offseason is all about. I need people to have a reason to listen to the show over the next couple of weeks. So please, we can't just pour it all on your head immediately. But Greg and Rob Downing going to take over the team with investors to be named later. Greg says the timeline is after the first of the year. More than likely, we'll find out what's up with KB in the future. But he was happy and positive, and we're going into a new era. I think he called it Greg Anderson 3.0, right? The first version was him and WJ. The second version is what we've been living, and 3.0 is coming in the future. And to start that as a winner at the finals, that's pretty good.
Well, we can squash some of the rumors and some of the gossip. Every open spot says, who's going to do this? Me.
Yeah, Reinhart. Me. Reinhart.
I'm Greg's investor. I'm going to be a silent partner. I'm just going to write the check and let him run the team. He certainly looks like he knows how to do that. Bob Tasca's crew chief. Me.
Yeah.
I'm going to do that too. That'll keep me going to the races, give me something to do. When I'm not on the microphone. What else is up for grabs? I don't remember. But anyway, any open blank thing is me. So there you go.
Yeah.
I'm going to need you to carry the show here for a couple of minutes. I'm driving through an inspection station, and I'm sure they're just going to wave me right through. But
Absolutely.
I'm going to put my window down and pretend I'm paying attention.
Okay,
so
you should
right
definitely do that. And I don't know how to mute you, so I'm just going to kind of lower your audio, and we'll just check back in with Alan Reinhart here in a few minutes. Everybody just kind of, Erica totally conquered Pro Stock. It was great to see. Absolutely. Hi, Joe and Alan. I'm glad that Erica won her 5th championship. Yes, she did. She did that in Vegas. Actually, it's kind of old news. Erica showing up, didn't have the best qualifying. Actually, fabulous racing season. I expected Top Fuel to be more dramatic, but yeah, I expected Top Fuel to be a little bit more dramatic as well. But since we're talking Top Fuel, who deserves to win, right? Like, who deserves to be the champion? It's always very important who deserves to be the champion. And I think Brittany Force showed she deserved to be the champion. And there were some others that were worthy. And had they gone out and won the final race, then they would have deserved to be the champion. But let's check in with Reinhart.
Well, good news. They didn't throw me on the ground and handcuff me and then pound my truck and all that good stuff. So I'm back.
How did I even know to raise the volume at that exact second? It was just a premonition. Just a premonition. But let's talk about Brittany, Alan. Wow. This was her best. She's won 2 championships, but this was her best season ever. She improved her driving and reaction times in many situations that mattered greatly. We learned that she ran Justin Ashley only one time on the season head-to-head, and she beat him on a hole shot in the final round at Houston. Big moments like that. Like, Brittany did what she had to do to raise her game, and Grubnick did what he had to do to raise his game, and they went out and they won a pivotal race in Vegas that really made them the champions. And at the same time, Justin and those guys in their first, last year, they had a chance to win the championship. This was a little different year. They stumbled a little bit, but Brittany Force, she's made her mark in NHRA drag racing, I think, with this 2nd championship. Some will say 1 can be a fluke, right? But 2, no way.
Well, I think that, I think Brittany pretty much made her mark anyway. Anybody that wants to know, throw the championships out the window. What's Brittany Force's mark in NHRA?
Queen of speed.
Let's take a look at the top 10 speeds in NHRA history.
Yeah.
I mean, it's Brittany until you get to 10, or it's actually probably 12 or 13, because now every time, like in Pomona, when she runs top speed of ever, sets a new national record, all she does is bump herself off the list from number 10 to number 11. But, you're right. She definitely stepped up in big moments when she needed to. I think it's ridiculous that she and Justin only raced once all year. How is that even remotely possible?
Shocking.
2 cars that good. I mean, you'd think they have to run into each other at least a handful of times. But, it's crazy the way it works. Some drivers seem to, race each other every week. Sometimes you talk to guys that run each other, 3 weeks in a row or 4 weeks in a row. The other top fuel stat, just countdown-wise, that floored me when I looked it up going over my stuff going into Sunday. Brittany is the only top fuel winner in the championship that won first round the next race.
Yes. Craziness.
Austin won Reading, was out first round at the next race. Antron won Charlotte, was out first round at the next race. Steve won St. Louis, was out first round at the next race. Justin won Dallas, was out first round at the next race. Brittany won Vegas, and then won first round. But it's crazy that caliber of players, 5 races in a row, the winner of the previous race got beat first round the next race when you're trying to build some momentum. I just floored me when I looked it up.
Yeah, that is shocking, but yes, but that's what we've been saying all year, that the top fuel field has gotten much stronger with the addition of, AJ goes to Coletta and Rob Flynn goes to Salinas. And so you're spreading that a little bit. And you've got Justin Ashley coming into his own. Like, this was Antron as his own team owner now, going out there and getting good midway through the season. The top fuel field has just been so much better this year. And they've been cutting each other's legs off in the first round of the following race. But really great stuff. Congratulations to Brittany. Obviously, we'll have her on to talk championship at some point. Everybody, we're gonna let it breathe a little bit. We're not gonna try to get all the race winners and champions in the next week of WFO. Blake is asking, like, when's Erica going to be on? When's this person going to be on? We're going to let everybody decompress a little bit. And I've learned this, Alan, they it hasn't sunk in yet, right? Like, I don't want that answer. I don't want that answer. I want to let it sink in a little bit. Austin, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, I certainly understand that. I just, because as I'm driving down the road, I keep thinking of things, so I want to drop them in before I forget. I don't want Tony Stewart's final round to be the most watched alcohol race ever. That award goes to Taylor Vetter.
Yep.
The closest championship goes to Cooter.
Yes.
Jimmy Hidalgo Jr., who won on a tiebreaker when he and Brad had raced one time all year, and he won that race by 3/10,000ths of a second. If that race goes the other way, he's not the champion. So I don't believe anybody else has ever won a championship by 3/10,000ths of a second. So that was pretty impressive.
Amazing. Yeah, Taylor Vetter riding the wall. Take that, Ross Chastain. You didn't go up on the side of the wall.
From the what's a guy got to do file? I mean, how about Pete Diagnolo? 699 points, the largest point score of anybody this year, and he only won the championship by one round.
Yeah.
The score that Greg Stanfield put up would have won the championship in any other category except Superstock, where it was just, anyway, it was that kind of year. There are special stories for everybody going around. I looked at Ryan Pretty's stats, and I mentioned it at the award ceremony, but you were there.
Yes.
First 3 races of the year, 1 round win. All right, boys, we're on a championship chase now. And then got hot in the middle of the year and ended up where he wanted to be. So it's just, there's a great story behind every championship, and I'm really looking forward to hearing them all play out over the winter break on WFO.
Yeah, Doug Gordon, that family, that story alone, alone. And this is what our great problem here in NHRA drag racing, Alan. Too many amazing, heartfelt stories that they all lay on top of each other. And the modern mind only has so much attention, right? But the Doug Gordon story, they have a crash, they build a car, they come back, they win it, they win the race. Amazing stuff. The family, his crew, their teenage girls, they love it. They're helping their dad. What? You could make a movie out of just the Doug Gordon story.
You could, but nobody'd believe it.
No, they wouldn't. That's it's shocking. It's shocking. Amazing stuff. Michael Heiner out there saying that Taylor wins by riding the wall. Definitely by far. Everybody is out there congratulating the Flying Airbrush. Jerron Settles wins the finals, wins back-to-back Vegas and then the finals, and eliminates all self-doubt. Because he's had all kinds of self-doubt, Alan, right? Jerron was like, I don't know if I can do this. I don't belong out here. And that was in April. No, it was at Indy, actually. He was telling me how he doesn't know, and now he knows. He's got his national event win.
My Jerome highlight, and you'd know this because you'd spend so much time in a tower, but on his list of accomplishments that every racer can put up, that'll come up on the announcer screen, it said 5th best driver of the Ted Weens team. And anybody that does the math knows that there's 5 drivers on the Ted Weens team. And so when I saw him earlier in the weekend in the staging lanes, I went by and I told him, I said, hey, I just want to let you know. I said, I think it's really cute that you think you're in the top 5. And I think he just, won the race just to prove me wrong.
I hope so. And he's out there and he's a friend. And, it was so weird. Jolie Stanfield, Aaron Stanfield, 3rd in 3 classes. Pro Stock, Top Dragster, Factory Showdown, Aaron Stanfield. That boy good.
Yeah, he raced 3 classes all year long and finished 9th.
Right.
Total.
Amazing. All right, let's get back in on. I want just to comment on Austin Prock. Obviously, we're going to have Austin on. I spent a little time with Rahn Tobler. Rahn Tobler announced his real retirement, which is not really a real retirement because he's going to come out and do some part-time stuff with Jason Rupert, but he wants to stay close to home, that kind of deal. But for him and for Austin and Joe Barlam to have the countdown that they had, they started so far back and they really changed my mind about what some called the charity rule, right? You show up at all these races and you start outside of the top 10, but you're still in the countdown. They finished third. Amazing. They got more round wins than anybody else in the countdown. They figured out their team and they went out there and they won the finals. And now Rahn Tobler, who, I've got a great friendship with Rahn Tobler, and I think he's one of the greatest of all time, and maybe doesn't get quite enough credit, kind of because he's a quiet guy. He's not a swing for the fences kind of guy. And he goes out there and ends his full-time career with a mic drop moment by winning the finals, running back-to-back career best ETs of his life. They found the 64 that the grubbies of the world had. They got there right at the finish line. They got there. They figured it out, back-to-back 64s, and win the race.
Yeah, and I think, if Ron hears this, I hope that he understands. I mean this as a compliment, and I'm certain he'll take it that way. He reminds me of a Dick LaHaye. He didn't come to set the track record. He didn't come to set low ET. He came to win the race. And he's going to bring a car up to the starting line that's going to go down a racetrack, that is going to be hard to guard. And, is he going to get outrun sometimes when maybe he could have been more aggressive? Yes. Is he going to give them away? Almost never. And I think that's kind of his legacy and his mindset. I didn't come to qualify number one. I didn't come to set the national record. I came to win the race. And you go straight into qualifying, not thinking probably about those little points and thinking about what can I learn right now that's going to help me on Sunday and make the car consistent and make the car go down the racetrack. That's always been his MO. It has served him extremely well. And if you want to argue with his success and his record, well, have at it, but you're going to lose that argument. So,
yeah, it's just, it's sad to see him go, but I understand. Let's dig a little deeper into funny car. The run. Okay, so Dean Antonelli. All right, well, there's so many stories. Like, I feel terrible for Robert Hight, Jimmy Prock, and Chris. I feel terrible. Like, I feel gutted for them. They didn't deserve this. But Caps tells the story. He's lost one by 2 points. He's lost one by 6 points. There's a lot of times where someone is gutted, like what Doug Coletta has had to live with after the run. There's a lot of examples of people who have had great years and walk away feeling hollow. And I just look at Robert and I talk to him. He's been on the show 8 times this year and more than that. And the idea that they are walking away not as champions in 2022, it's like your heart goes out to them. But at the same time, what Ron Capps and Dean Antonelli did in qualifying to get it below 2 rounds, we said that was the most important thing, and then go out there and get the job done. Like they earned it. That's it. You think about Tom Brady and the season of perfection that they had, and they go to the Super Bowl and they play the Giants, and David Tyree catches the ball on his helmet and all this weird stuff happens and they walk away and they didn't win. And you think about, well, that helmet catch, that was really the reason that they lost. Yeah, it was. Sports are crazy. And there's agony and ecstasy, the thrill of victory and the agony of defeat. And I don't think that is a perfect example of it in Funny Car. I feel so badly for Robert and those guys, but at the same time, Dean Antonelli, they did what they had to do. They stepped up and they threw down.
They did. And, I think there's a lot of interesting points to that. The Saturday night run is the run that won the championship, because on Friday they were awful. And how much do you think that the Auto Club guys are going to relive their Friday? Because Friday, Q1 didn't get down the racetrack. And you know what? Q1, 3 points. That could have been the difference.
Yep.
But Ron comes up in final qualifying, knowing this is it, do or die. And Cruz, who had absolutely the best car in qualifying period, right? 84, 84, 84, 84.
Yep.
And they come up and nick him with an 83, take the number 1 spot, take the bonus points, and that run put them close enough that they could then contend for the championship. And, he was, Ron was actually on Sirius XM radio the other day. Dave Moody had him on, and he said basically exactly that run was the championship. So then, of course, you got to come back and do it. And I also, I hate it for the Auto Club guys, but they had their destiny in their own hands.
Right.
And, how much would they like to have back that second round against Tasca, especially knowing now that Tasca didn't even really make a full pull, but you can't go up there thinking that. And, how much would they like to have back one of those qualifying runs to just try to go get a couple more points? But those guys certainly next year are going to be back with authority again. And it's a great, great time to be a fan of NHRA.
Yeah. Best time ever. And we're going to dig deeper, guys. Like, we can't talk about every single thing that happened and all the silly season stuff, because honestly, just like Alan said, things reemerge, like, oh yeah, that moment and this and that and all these things that happen. That's what we have the winter break for. Michael Heiner's out there. They got their car running at the end of the season, says it's Antron's turn to finish second, but what a feat that was. Pro Stock Motorcycle. I'm so happy for Angie Smith. She had a fast bike all year long and struggled at times, issues, getting off the clutch at times, weird stuff, but she gets a win, 1.5 points, finishes third. Matt wins. We kind of knew that. The guy was on a mission, very similar to Erica, honestly. Matt Smith, from the start of the season, had the eye of the tiger, said what his plan was, to win 6, to join Andrew and Dave Schultz, and that's exactly what he did. And Matt Smith is total badass. Like, that's it. Matt Smith. Unbelievable person in Pro Stock Motorcycle. But what I'm thinking about is to win as a married couple together at the same race, a championship and a race win. Like, I don't know. You can't do much better than that.
No, I think that's a pretty solid showing. I think, the year-long story in Pro Stock Motorcycle, I think you have to split between Matt Smith, what he did, and especially the way he did it, riding 2 motorcycles, doing everything, and keeping up with everybody and helping everybody and all the teams that he works with out there and all the riders that he works with. That's incredible that he finds enough hours in the day that he can even ride a motorcycle. The second one is Joey Gladstone. There was people that are involved in outlaw motorcycle racing and other things certainly knew who Joey Gladstone was. But when he came over here, people that are focused on NHRA kind of went, okay, who's the new guy? And you don't really, I wish that category would get some more focus, because you don't really get to know the people, the personality that are out there until they start getting in the winner's circle on a regular basis. And so with his performance, his multiple wins, his second place in the championship, got him some TV time, got him some coverage, let the fans know a little bit about who this guy is. And I think that was very, very special, not just for him, but I think it's good for the class. And then the one-time story in Pro Stock Motorcycle at the finals, Eddie Krawick.
Yeah.
I mean, are you kidding me?
Yeah. First season since 2008 that he hasn't won a race. And those are one of the great stats. Like, there are racers who had seasons with win streaks broken this year. They did not punch it in, but to DNQ, like, that's crazy. But you said it. Who was it who said it was Matt, that Gianna's bike, whatever virus Eddie's bike caught, hers caught it too. Like, these things are so finicky. It can just sit there and catch something negative, and they couldn't get it down the track. Some sort of weird electrical gremlin. Andrew told me, like, we change everything except the chassis, and they couldn't figure it out. What are you going to do?
Well, I just think that it's crazy that, as good as he's been, and then when he came back in the final qualifying session, did the dry hop, because they were thinking potentially some kind of a 2-step issue was causing the problem. So he did a dry hop, figuring that if it worked there, it should work. The dry hop worked fine, and then he dropped the clutch to make the run, and it didn't. So it's just craziness. But first time since 2007 that he failed to qualify for a race. So, as you said, I think, it just goes to show it ain't as easy as it looks. When something weird happens, you can get weird in a hurry.
Yeah, the dry hop was awesome. Matt and Angie are out there chatting in the comment section, and that's why, hopefully, if you're watching WFO for the first time or listening, this is why you got to subscribe, click the bell, follow us through the off season, because we've got a VIP audience, right? Like champions and race winners out there just hanging out, watching the show. just amazing stuff. I know we're going to dig deeper, Alan. Taylor Vetter wins top alcohol. Dragster Sean Bellemere won the battle. Doug Gordon wins the war. Alan Wilson in comp. Jimmy Hidalgo wins a super stock. So what a great weekend for him. Stock World Championship, super stock race win. Ryan Mangus gets his first out of that kind of shocked me. Mangus is a great racer, but he had never punched it in for the national event win. He finally got it. Jerron, same deal, super comp. But on the other side, Angie Foray, 2 first time, someone's going to get their first win. And it was Jerron in this example. But my goodness, just such a great story there in Super Comp. Bob Locke, Lance Abbott, Al Kenny, 50th season of NHRA Drag Racing for Al Kenny. This is his final race of his 50th season, which if you think about that, that's just amazing. And Mason Weaver won the Junior Dragster Shootout. Just a great event top to bottom.
Well, it's always special when we get first-time winners up there, and especially when you've got 2 people that are going for it, because then somebody's about to make history. The Mangus thing, when I looked it up, 6 final rounds, no wins. And that's when you got to start talking to yourself at some point, right? It's like, okay, what's going to happen this time? And having him close that deal out was, it was really nice just because he's such a good guy. He's been around since junior dragster days. And as you said, he's had plenty of success, and I still love when he won the Jegs All-Stars a few years ago. And it was one of the greatest All-Star interviews in history. Amanda Busick said, "Congratulations, Ryan, you are the Jegs All-Star Stock Eliminator champion." And he said, "I don't even own a stalker." He just borrows cars and gets in here and there and helps people out from time to time and has always been very successful, just never closed the deal until then.
Yeah, amazing stuff. We'll delve into all these different angles, and I'm sure there's something. I know you're out there on the road, and so I don't want to wear you out. But then our award ceremony, right? Like NHRA prom. Oh my goodness, I had a great time. You did a great job with the Lucas Oil banquet. It moved out very rapidly. It was very nice. Everybody's speeches were great. It was so nice to be back to that. Pandemic year, we really had nothing. Last year, we had a tent at the track, which was fine, whatever we can do. But to be able to all get together and everybody gets dressed up and has fun and runs around like a bunch of high schoolers, searching for shots after it's all over. It was really great. I had a great time. Any comments on that?
Well, just that I agree 100% with what you just said. It was great to get back together. And, I love, and I mentioned at the beginning of the Lucas affair, I see a lot of really nice looking, well-dressed people in this room, and I don't know anybody. But put on a t-shirt.
Right. And
I'll know everybody. But, especially for the ladies to have a chance to get dressed up again and go out and have that celebration, and I agree with Erica's speech. I loved everything that she said. I also really liked Brittany's speech, and I liked the subliminal message that Dave and Max Savage sent. And I don't know how many people noticed it, but I did. And I asked, hey, was that accident or by design? He said, no, we absolutely did that on purpose. When the crew came up on the racetrack, instead of the crew chiefs being right in the middle, they were on the ends. They flanked them. And I spoke to both Dave and Mac about that. They said, look, those guys deserve to be in the middle in the spotlight because we get it all year long. And so this time we will stand off to the side and let everybody see them center stage out there where they belong, because if they didn't do what they did, we wouldn't have won the championship. And I just thought that was a really, really cool, I said, just kind of subliminal, but just a little something you can do for your guys.
Well, they're thinking about it, just that they're thinking about their guys. And first championship for Grubnick, right? Like, we think of him as this unbelievable crew chief mind but it wasn't that long ago where he was double stepping in a Coletta top field dragster and that thing fell apart, the driving moment. And he invigorated his career as a crew chief with Clay Milliken, then got hired at John Force and has totally redefined the record book, right? Redefined the record book in his name. I said he was admiring his handiwork looking at the scoreboard when it went 338.9. And he's like, I'm not admiring my handiwork. Well, you should be. Okay. You should be. And then he went on and won the championship. Grubnick, now as a world champion crew chief. Max Savage, who is a super quiet guy. You know that, Alan. He talks because Grubnick, somebody's got to talk. And so sometimes we go to Max Savage, but those guys, it's great for them to score one, because until you're a champion, you're not. And now they are.
Yeah, and they deserved every minute of it. I put him in, basically, I think probably not a lot of people listening to this were around when Alan Johnson made the move from alcohol to top fuel. But once he, took over the reins as a crew chief, he developed a really, really fast race car, but it took him a while to learn how to win. A lot of number one qualifiers, a lot of great runs, a lot of stuff, but it took him a while to find the winner's circle. Once he found the winner's circle and got that, then it was like, okay, here we go. And I think David Grubnick is a lot like that. You look back at the last few years, he's been able to field a very fast race car from time to time, but consistently in the circle was kind of a different deal. And now he is doing that. He's still fielding a ridiculously fast race car, but now he's getting it into the winner's circle. And I think that, he's going to be a top fuel force for a long time to come.
Yeah. Yeah, no, definitely. And those guys on the team, they worked hard. I had some good interactions with them throughout the year. They never got down, right? They always had confidence, and that's what it takes. I think it's worth saying, though, that the Steve Torrence 4 championships in a row, now that the streak is broken, amazing job by those guys. They put a 64 up on the board too, career bests. I don't want to look ahead to 2023 just yet, right? Give us a break. But wow, what a year. What a year it was.
It was. And, there's a lot of people that are going to be coming back next year thinking they got something to prove. You look at the Coletta cars, for what they did and the investment they made and the stuff, and to have them finish 9th and 10th. If I'd have said that at the beginning of the year, I could own everybody's house right now.
Yes, you could. Fact.
In the first place, half the world was convinced that Doug was going to win the championship.
Yep.
And nobody, not a soul, would have said, oh, no, those guys, they're barely going to make the top 10. So they're going to be back with a vengeance next year. I will be, I said this last year and I'll say it again, I will be stunned. I mean, even more though than I was this year, because, Alan now has had a year under his belt to work with, the parts, the pieces, the stuff, the people over there. And I think that they are going to be, I'm not saying they're going to win it all, but I guarantee you that they will be in the fight coming into, the last couple of races of the year next year.
Totally agree. No, totally agree. Alan, great job as usual. I had a great time with you, my friend. This year was awesome. This race was awesome. So many good times that, I need to start keeping like a journal or something. I go back and look at my tweets because there were so many fun things that happened, but the culmination with Vegas and Pomona, the Randy Lynn Bo wedding, all the fun that we got to have, but then for it to even kick up another notch at the Auto Club Finals this past weekend, I don't know what to say other than this is very hard and grueling work that is very difficult. And so I need recovery time now.
Well, I mean, the travel certainly, wears on you, especially as the years go by. But I agree. I think that, the opportunity to be a part of some special things, and even if it's just to be there to see special things,
yep,
is one of the best perks of the job. And I'm still kind of annoyed with everybody at the wedding that nobody dressed up except me. I mean, it's frickin' Halloween, folks. It's Halloween.
I couldn't dress up. They wanted me to dress like drag racing Pope. And I was like, guys, I got to show respect to this situation. But I agree with you, Alan. There should have been some more costumes. It was Halloween at the Cosmo. Well, forever. Your gripe is legit.
You should have dressed up as like Father Guido Sarducci.
I love Father Guido. He's one of my favorites. He's one of my favorites of all time.
You what?
I love Father Guido.
Yeah, that would have been awesome.
Yeah. But all the jokes that I'm thinking of his right now are not appropriate. Yeah. Anyway. All right, AR, go find your CUDA stuff.
All right, Joe, you take care, and I will talk to you next week.
Sounds great. There he goes, the voice of the NHRA, Alan Reinhart, joins us each week right here on WFO Radio via Skype. I don't even know if I have to say that, but it did. Via Skype, Alan Reinhart. All right, guys, let's get some conversation going. And I'm going to give you the top 10 in point standings. And of course, put your comments in the comment sections, like something that stuck out on your mind or a question you might have or all of that. Right, Jerron Settles out there, like Jerron, if I sent you the link, could you make it on the show? Like, do you have what it takes to put your act together that quickly? Is that possible? I don't know. I don't know if Jerron has that ability or not. So I don't know. Maybe I'll send him or myself the link, and maybe he could come on. I'm just so happy for that guy because you form friendships with people out there, and you want to see them win, and you want to see them succeed. You want to see them not be aggravated and annoyed and kicking their shoes and looking at the ground. And I was happy he was able to get the win. But let's get some final comments in the comment section. But also, let's look at the final points. Brittany Force wins the championship by 62 over Antron Brown, by 82 over Austin Prock, by 86 over Justin Ashley. And I feel great and terrible for Justin all at the same time, right? Like, so let's just move beyond the feeling terrible part, because whenever people don't, who was it? Someone at the awards banquet said, it's like, you can't imagine how difficult it is to go celebrate the person that buried you. That someone told me that. And I was like, ooh, that sounds very dramatic. And also I felt that feeling on a tiny scale, bracket racing, like the people that beat you. But that's what it is. The day that you win, you want people to stick around and celebrate you as well. And the Phillips Connect team had a great year. Mike Salinas had a great year, 135 points. Rob Flynn from a year ago to this year. Aaron Cave, and shout out to Adam, who's probably sick of hearing this, but he brought me my tie from Carducci's, which they did not want to put one in the bag. And so he saved the day for me on the white carpet deal. Steve Torrance, 6th, 153 back. Josh Hart, 7th, 177 back. Clay Milliken, 8th, 248 points back. How about that, Clay? And then Sean Langdon and Doug Coletta, 9th and 10th. Leah and Tony Schumacher, 11th and 12th countdown contenders. It was kind of interesting. A year ago at PRI, Tony Pedregon put me on the spot, and he said, Joe, what do you think? Who's going to have the better season last year, Leah or Tony Schumacher? And I hemmed and hawed and danced around. I didn't really know what I was going to say. And they finished 11th and 12th, right? Neither one really having a great year points-wise. But at the same time, what are we really expecting? Let's take a second to learn from this situation, okay? All of us, anyone, myself included, like fantasizing about Alan Johnson at Coletta Motorsports going on and winning the championship in his first year. That was an unrealistic expectation for a person, no matter how good they are, to show up in a new place in a situation that to them is kind of unknown. What do they got going on here? What's everything look like? Who knows how to do what? How do they do it? To in that moment, just move some things around and go out and win a season-long world championship. It's just so unlikely. So unlikely. And the same is true for Leah and Tony Schumacher. Teams that are startups to go out there and contend. You know what? If you look at it, where they started and where they finished, I feel like both of those teams, like every one of these teams in the top 12 in points, has got a positive story to tell. Tony Schumacher next year is going to have Mike Neff and John Schaefer and a lot of the guys from Tasca's team. That's a silly season story. We're going to delve into it. There's good and there's bad. And, for one person getting something that they want, that means Tasca's got to rebuild his team. That's kind of a tough deal, but it's also modern sports. It's just the way it is. But you also must remember that Tony Schumacher and Mike Neff were together initially with the Army car before Army pulled out. And so they had what they considered to be unfinished business. And I had a great conversation with Tony about this, and they want to go out and show what they were going to do before the Army pulled out and pulled the rug out from under them. And no disrespect to the Army, of course. It's just a decision they made. Leah, positive story, right? They, at the start of the year, Tony buys the team, and what do they got? Nothing. They got to build everything. And they go through this whole exercise, and Neil turns out to be the guy, and Neil and Neil and Mike Domagala, they're like figuring out what it is, and they put together an all-star team of crew guys. Remember, Chris Afflerbach is there, and Red is there, and all these guys who have won many championships, but they've got to, they got to figure out the deal. And the end of the season, they laid down a couple of their best runs, and now they're going to have a legit winter break extended mix to do it. Doug Coletta and Sean Langdon, the Alan Johnson, Brian Hughes, and Jason McCullough experiment. Okay, so they finished 9th and 10th, but their best performances of the year came in the countdown, throwing down some 60s, going to the semis, the sorting of the issues. And I had a conversation with Alan in Seattle about it. And it's just like, well, we didn't know what was the situation. And now we have worked the problem and we're getting it to where it needs to be. And they did. And so if they come out of the box in March exactly the same way they ended in Pomona, they're going to be way better in 23 than they were in 22. But they're going to come out better because they're going to have 4 months to get things correct. So I'm expecting something completely different next year. Clay Milliken, Doug Stringer sold the team. They've got new ownership. They've got new parts. They've got new pieces. They're running better. Clay is signed for the next couple of years. Positive story. Josh Hart, first full season of NHRA Drag Racing. He went to a bunch of tracks that he had never been to. And so that those tracks, they were there for the very first time. No notes. Now they got him. Steve Torrence. All right. So there's one where you can say was, a come down, a negative, a down story. It makes perfect sense. The guy just won 4 championships consecutively, something that's impossible to do. There's only one way to go when you're at the top, and it's down a little bit. Talked to Steve at the awards banquet, and he was great attitude about it. His dad got injured out there at the track, but was okay. Saw Billy out there. Glad you're all right, Billy. But when you're at the highest heights for 4 years, you're going to have a come down. Mike Salinas, positive. Justin Ashley, positive. Could have won the championship, but didn't. Oh, man, tough stuff. Austin Prock, worst of the story is the regular season could have been better, but it is what it is. They finished 3rd. Antron Brown 2nd, and Brittany 1st. All great storylines in Top Fuel. All great storylines. And that's what a winning season is all about. Let's see what some of the comments are out there. Right? I like this one. Angie looks marvelous in blue. Michael Heiner. They closed the Cantina bar too soon. Okay, so the suggestion box about the Pechanga Resort deal, everybody knows what's up. We all know that there's 3 improvements that they could have made. And it's catering to the drag racers a little bit better by having a couple more bartenders. Just a couple more, 200% more. But other than that, I think everybody enjoyed it out there. It was really good. And they did. They closed that Cantina bar, the Round Bar. Is that what you're talking about, Michael? I was hanging out there. We're hanging out at the Round Bar. It's 1 something, and they closed it. Big mistake, guys. Big mistake. Go, Alan. Get your CUDA parts. Brenwald. Don't forget Krista's exciting weekend. Krista Baldwin. My goodness. What a weekend. Driving a replica paint scheme to her dad's car. Wins a round, gets engaged. Bobby brought her down to the sand trap, which, that's where her father's final resting place. I don't know if you know that. And I don't know if I'm supposed to say that, but I'm telling you this story because they went down there and she got engaged. And now Krista and Bobby are engaged. And that's a good weekend to do it. Good weekend to do it. Amazing. Let's see. Any word on D3 race at Chicago? What about it? Great show, fellas. Thank you, Michael Heiner. Great end of the season. I'm happy and proud of you, too. Fighting a mystery problem for a season and a half and finding it and overcoming it. Joe, do you see parts availability as an issue again next year? Lonnie, here's the thing, okay? The further and further we get away from the worldwide pandemic that killed over 1 million Americans and countless others around the world, the further and further we get away from that, the better and better things are going to be. So will there be parts availability issues? Yeah, probably. Will they be as great as they were this season? Probably not. Probably not. No one wants to remember that pandemic. Everybody wants to just forget it, and that's fine. Like when you break your arm and you get your cast off, and then you don't really even remember what it was like having the cast on or having a broken bone. But we went through some S for 2 years, 3 years. And it's still like they're talking about there being an issue here during this winter break. But people are figuring out parts availability. People are figuring out, getting the raw materials as well. Life finds a way. So yeah, there will be some availability issues, but less than we have experienced this year as people learn. And really, Lonnie, let me ask you this. Can you please name an example of a situation where parts availability hindered our racing or entertainment other than people mentioning it? Like if nobody ever mentioned it, would you even have known? And yeah, we had 3 qualifying sessions at some races. But we had 4 at the ones that mattered the most. Like, I don't know. I think that's an unnecessary storyline. Great job this season by both of you. Thank you, Monica. Thank you very much. I never got my $20 for the WFO shootout during the track walk, says Rick. I don't know what you're talking about, Rick. Like, did I offer you $20? You're going to have to send me an email on that one. Alan's costume was something special. Yeah, it definitely was, Michael Heiner. It was, well, he pulled it off well. I'll rent you the Yeti suit. Oh, thank you very much. You're too tall. Can we draw on Matt's bobblehead? Yeah, right here. Right on his forehead. Nothing like Charles Manson but like we'll do something. NHRA had no faux drama like NASCAR does. Well, no, I don't think NASCAR did or does. NASCAR had real drama, but drama that we don't want. We don't want that. We learned a valuable lesson a few years ago with Steve Torrence and Cam Ferret, who are now friends and they get along great and everything's great and it's all great. But as much as people say they want to see some drama, there's certain drama they don't want to see. And if you had to choose between negative drama or just positive stuff, which is what we really saw, all positive this year, for the most part, positive, I think we all know what we would rather see, and it's positive. And that's it. Going to grab some popcorn and hang out Northfield Drive and watch all the toolboxes moving around. Going to be quite a silly season. Yeah, like silly season. People are asking me, well, who's going to be Tasca's guy? And this and that. Just let it roll out, guys. Let it roll out. Joe, when are you going to have Erica on for the championship interview? Blake, you're very demanding, Blake. I love you, Blake, but you're very demanding. You want to know what's going on. Where is this person? Where is that person? The answer is patience, Grasshopper. Patience. You just keep tuning into WFO every single day and click on every video, and one day she's going to be there. Don't you want to give the girl a break, Blake? Give her a second to like decompress and enjoy her 5th championship. I'm going to put her to work immediately, like 3 days later. I'm surprised I'm even here. Great season, great competition. Look forward to next season and the cool changes to the alcohol category in Factory X. Yeah, I don't know. Factory X, I'm definitely excited about. Those alcohol changes, I really don't know what I think. I like the bodies, 69 and newer bodies, if there are any. And I like the electronic fuel injection. The A-Fuel funny cars, I don't know. How about Taylor Vetter's finish? Well, good job for Taylor Vetter. And, I'm sure they would prefer that not happen. But if you can't win the race, be spectacular. If you're going to win the race and be spectacular, even better. She won it, and she rode the wall. It can be done in the NHRA too. And in the battle of wall riders, Ross Chastain or Taylor Vetter, who wore it better? And the answer is Taylor Vetter. So even Ross Chastain, with his crazy riding the wall to transfer to the Final Four in Martinsville, yes, the spotlight is bigger over there, but Taylor Vetter did it better. She was, inverted, and she won the race. Didn't just transfer. So advantage Vetter, run of the year. FX next year. Yeah. Talking to people. There are going to be cars. They're coming. They're coming. Hey, Barrichello. How are you? Thanks, Joe. Going NHRA, Carnies of Speed, saying goodbye in the swing, Stampede of Speed. Yeah. Oh, all these things. Well, Gary just listed all my National Dragster columns. How about posting the one that said 2022 is going to be the best season of NHRA drag racing ever? That in March I make a bold prediction like that. No one's got the guts to say that kind of stuff. Well, back in Joe Amato and no, this is it. 2022, you lived it. Are we going to have a Joe versus Pro round 2? Says Terry Sutton. I have been invited by Flying Ryan Ayler to go over there to Tampa Bay Race Rentals at Showtime Drag Strip in Tampa between Christmas and New Year's. And I don't see any reason why I wouldn't. It looks like it was going to be fun. I was there and back in the day. Flying Ryan's a good guy. And, everybody knows he shut us out of enough practice runs. So I think it's only right. But we're going to do it a little different this year. Will Ron be in the next Toyota commercial? Well, you'd think. Let's talk activation, guys. Let's talk activation. So you may recall Brittany Force's first championship. It's all about the activation. Let's talk sports business right now, okay? You just won. Does anybody know? Yeah, some people know. The diehards of the sport, the people who listen to WFO, and the people who watch the sport on Fox Sports 1. But what about everybody else? Do they know? I don't know. And that's where sponsor activation comes in. So Monster Energy, right? The last time they won the championship, there was a little bit of friction with our other beverage sponsor, Mellow Yellow. Like Monster won the Mellow Yellow, and the Mellow Yellow is touching on Monster, and you've got another beverage connected to the deal. So whenever you're pushing and activating, it's like either way. Now, I don't have a problem with it, but the marketing types at the highest of levels, there is a thing. This thing, it's just like having someone from DSR and JFR on the same show, and neither one of them promotes it because that other guy is in there, and really, is it worth it? I've experienced that for 10 years. Okay. No problems this year. Monster Energy. You have got one of the most unique and compelling world champions ever. Brittany Force. First time around. Second time around, I want to see them blow her up. Brittany Force should be everywhere. Monster Energy. I hope they do it. Hope they do that. Ron Capps, Napa. Napa always does a great job, period. Napa has done a great job, period. You think about the old commercials with Michael Waltrip and Martin Truex and everything. Well, now Ron is his own team owner, and he's got Toyota, Ron, like they're world champions again. What can they do? What will they do? What will they do? I hope they do something big. I hope they feel the momentum of NHRA drag racing. I hope they understand that big commercials that are beyond the drag racing community are the way to grow it. You see Ron Capps. Wow, who is that guy? What is he? He's funny. He's fun. Let's watch. That happens. Brittany Force. Oh my gosh, she's hot. What is she doing? Let's watch. Okay. And the same is true with Erica Enders, and the same is true with Denzo and Matt Smith. I don't know what they can do, but they're going to do something. That's my opinion. They're going to do something. Good things happening. Lots of rumbling with the extra earned media side of drag racing. So I hope so, Scott. Off-season happy hours, here we come. Yeah, no, we already got it. 9 minutes behind Grubby's first championship. You should not be behind. Art, nobody can forget attention in the pits. Joe's great content. Oh, this is it. Self-aggrandizing. Let's do it. And I hope you do more of it. If you need to be entertained, I shut off the television and watch you on that segment. Attention in the pits will continue, we believe, every week through the entire offseason. Nikki from NHRA and myself, I can't say we literally worked ourselves to death because I wouldn't be here, but we really worked hard to fill as much of the offseason with some cool drag race related content on NHRA Social each week, starting, in 2 weeks after the championship has kind of slowed down a little bit. You will have an attention in the pits. The problem is you guys aren't sharing them enough. I'm not complaining to the WFO universe, but I go on the YouTube and I see some just rando guy with a YouTube channel posting a video about a cool 69 Camaro, and it's got 200,000 views. And then we post a great video with like John Gray's amazing 69 Camaro, and it's got 10,000 views. And I can't for the life of me figure out what the difference is, honestly. Our cars are cooler. Our videos are cooler. You get to know the drivers, and our people are like, and they're not share. Likes, shares, that's where it's at. Look at me yelling at you. I admit the racers mentioning it was how I knew about the parts availability was an issue. Well, everyone mentioned it. It was a thing. But was it in any way? Did it affect any moment of any season? Did anybody not show up for a round because of parts availability? Remember the supply chain issues? Remember all that stuff that everybody was panicking about in February? All of those things that everybody was so concerned about in February, did they turn out to be anything? How about this? I had a discussion with someone. Remember, we started the season, I think, wearing masks on airplanes. And then that went away. And everything went away. And everything continues to get better and better, as much as people are like, no, it's not getting better. No, it is. It's getting better. Earl Nichols won a race. Loved seeing the cruiser win and then show how even a seasoned veteran can still get emotional over win. Rightfully so. We're going to have Cruz on the show. I had a great couple minutes with Cruz. You know, Rip Reynolds is stepping away from the team. But that was one of the best single performances ever in the history of drag racing, if you think about it. 84, 84, 84, 84 in qualifying. Gets bumped down to 2 with a hero run. Goes on to the final round, wins it with an 83 and beats the world champ. And Cruz said this was one of the best single cars he's ever had in his entire career. Like, you know, the 92, Firebird, McDonald's, and this car, like, went down the racetrack. Amazing stuff. Way to go, Cruiser. Deep and Hawk totally enjoyed every WFO show and all of NHRA TV. Yeah, that's right. And we intend to continue to do more. It's going to get better. That's right. Michael Heiner, you used inverted. Fantastic. Thank you, Michael Heiner. Yeah. See, there's back channel too. You could have put that up in the, or maybe you did. Congratulations to MSR on using the tools at his disposal to win. Matt Smith switching the bikes, being the story. Look, it's drag racing and tends to be cars. There's more car people than there are bike people. But the pro stock motorcycles, they have shown that they are awesome. And Joey Gladstone, in spite of not knowing who Brian Karate was, all of these things. Just kidding, Joey. Hopefully you're out there and you get that joke. Can't wait for Factory X to start. Me either. I'm good, Joe. Thank you. Hope you are well. I am. Blake, thanks, Joe. We're getting down to the wire now. Absolutely love Pro Stock Motorcycle this year. It was great. Fast bikes, quick personalities, highs and lows. Wasn't I supposed to read point standings? Funny car. Ron Capps wins by 3 over Robert Hight. Like there's a low point. Like Robert Hight does not deserve to feel that sting of defeat. But Capps has felt it by single digits twice in his career. And the more you contend for championships, the more the cosmic math is going to even out. And that's just one of them. But man, Robert, what a good guy. Jimmy, Chris Cunningham. Amazing. And the thing that really stinks about it is that I'm talking to Rahn Tobler after his win, his mic drop win. And we're talking about the career he's had. And he's like, well, yeah. But you remember in 2020, in the final race, we broke a cam and, we were winning that race and that could have been another one. I'm like, you crew chief, you guys only really remember the ones you lose by a little bit. It's like, yep, pretty much. Sponsor nightmare trying to get drink sponsorships in the Coke days. Yeah, it was. Matt Hagan, 95 points back. Bob Tasca, 178 back. Okay, so let's look at the top 4. Ron Capps, Robert Hight, Matt Hagan, Bob Tasca. Okay. John Force, 5th. John, how about that explosion? The fire raging right on top of him. John Force, amazing. So happy he's okay. He was at the awards. He was having a good time. He had a great season. John Force, 73 years old, guys. 73 years old. Guy goes out there, wins a race, and is 5th in points. What do you want? No, the guy's got to win every year. Otherwise, he's got to go. No, remember, I'm going to go on my soapbox right here. When Ron Capps won the championship and my phone exploded with people talking about how they should not run the car. They should not run the car. They will risk losing the championship. A lot of people that are great friends and I love, and I value their opinions and all of that. And I'm not saying I didn't have the same opinion. I was wondering, what would they do? And I went to Dean Antonelli and I said, hey, man, off the record, right? Not everything I do is on the record. A lot of off the record on background. What are you going to do with this? He said, we're going to run it. This was right after going to the final. We're going to run it. A lot of people disagreed with that. That was guts. That was guts for them to do that. But why does that rule even exist? The rule that is now going to go away, from what I'm hearing. Glenn Cromwell told me the rule is going away. That crew chiefs are put in the position to risk the championship or entertain the fans. Those fans out there at the Auto Club Raceway, by the way, great crowd on Sunday. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, great crowd. Great crowd. That place is huge. If you don't know, I know the JC League is wondering why they didn't open up the right-hand side. They should never open that right-hand side again. Just pack them in on the left-hand side. You have to put people over there on the right-hand side, send security over there on the right-hand side. You got like a vendor for the 90 people over there on the right-hand side. No, man. Make it a party deck or something, but no people over there anymore. It was bad from jump. But I digress. The rule that put us in that bad situation was created and asked for and championed by the drivers. A couple of years ago, John Force was having a little bit of a time. The car wasn't totally right. He was not right in the car. And he was getting across the center line. And a lot of people, a lot of them, now I'm not going to say names. You can go back and watch the interviews. You can think about it in your mind. But it wasn't just one person. There was a lot of people that were trying in that moment to chase John Force out of the sport. They were. Run him out. And instead, they went to work. They fixed John's car. John started going straight. They put the rule in place. And, is it a good rule? Is it a bad rule? I don't think it's a bad rule. I just don't think at the finals they should be in that situation where those points could lose them the championship. I think that's counterproductive. And I think we all agree. And I think NHRA agrees. You want to take the points at the start of 2023 next year and you start 15 points in the hole or 10 points in the hole, that's fine. But it definitely shouldn't be disincentivize a crew chief to not run the car. And everybody, they shouldn't run. And that wouldn't be cool, man. That would not be cool. But who came up with that rule? It wasn't NHRA. It was the drivers that really made a lot of stink to put that rule in place. And is it a bad rule? It's not a bad rule. It's okay. You want to disincentivize crossing the center line, but you don't want it to prevent people from racing their car, which is what it was about to do, if not for Dean Antonelli's courage and confidence in his car and his driver. Many other crew chiefs said flat out they would not have run it. Can you imagine Cruz Pedregon just coming up there and idling down the track? How that would have been received. It would have been terrible. So what is that? What am I saying? What does it matter? Hey, you can have an opinion in a moment, but you should also have the courage to rethink your opinion and consider the fact that I was wrong about my opinion. I had an opinion, and that opinion was wrong. I was wrong. I learned. Shouldn't have said that about Force. Guy finishes 5th in the points, 192 ahead of guys like Cruz Pedregon, Alexis DeJoria, J.R. Todd, Tim Wilkerson, Blake Alexander, John Force. Great year for a 73-year-old icon of the sport, 5th. I have a thing. You finish in the top 5. That's never bad. Cruz, 6, 272 back. Alexis, 310 back. J.R. Todd, 338 back. Tim Wilkerson, 339 back. Blake Alexander, 10th. And Jim Campbell, 11th. 1 point. A couple of 1 point deals at the back of the points there. John Force. And yeah, I'm defending John. Defending John Force. Who thought I would ever have to do such a thing? Let's see. A mellow monster. Yeah, exactly. Enjoy the off season, Joe. Well, yeah, off season. I mean, winter break, PRI, 100%. Be hanging out in the Total Seal booth. I'm going to swing by the FTI Performance booth. Got some good things going. Going to be out there, I think, working on Motorhead Garage as well. Got some good things. Do not let Ron sing in the commercials. Agreed. Hey, Joe, us and Capco watching from the Checker Flag Tavern in Indy. Hey, what's up? I don't know who us is because Facebook thing, but type a parentheses in your name there and let me know. What's up, Capco boys? Hopefully you guys, you feel good about what you've done the last 5 years. That's really the way it should be looked at. Got my PRI credentials today. Way to go, Ricky. I'll see you there. Thanks, Joe. Good show. We're coming down the home stretch now. I brought three NHRA virgins to the finals. They are hooked, growing the sport. I brought 2. And they both loved it too. People that don't know a dragster from a fork. And they loved it. Great season already. Excited about next year. Me too. All the conversations are off the record. All of them off the record. Michael Heiner. Michael Heiner has agreed to come on WFO Patreon. Yes, a Patreon specific show for our VIP people who pay. Michael Heiner goes, Mike, I feel weird asking people to do interviews for just a select paying group of people behind a paywall that are so supportive of WFO that they're willing to pay. You realize that, we'll be doing a show for 70 people. He goes, I don't care. I'll do that. And so Michael Heiner has agreed to do a behind the scenes show where he'll tell all about Pro Stock. Isn't that great? Thank you, Michael. You're now kind of locked in on that. You might notice that. Pull out those stands, put in shade trees, picnic tables. Okay, Steve, my great buddy, Steve Brenwald, who has actually written a column for the WFO website, would be posted eventually. Steve, how much money did you just spend doing nothing? Right? Yeah, let's pull out the stands and we'll play at some shade trees and some picnic tables. No, how about we just keep them covered with some signage and we just let it be? No, we're going to spend $30,000 doing nothing. You can take that same $30,000 and you put it somewhere else. That's where you build the In-N-Out burger stand. Can't spend money on nothing. And that would be money on nothing. Caps team is watching live from the Czech Flag. Oh, that's who it is. It's Caps. What's up, guys? Congratulations. World champions. Drivers have a steering wheel. Keep it in your lane. Yeah. Joe, have you heard anything further of Factory X class? Yes, I have. I've heard a bunch. They're coming. It's just like everything, it takes longer than you think it would. The Napa team and the Capco team are hanging out. Way to go, guys. Loving the Gator Nationals is the first event. Should keep it that way. Let's see how it goes. That's what I'm saying. Let's see how it goes. What about the green light on a few Pro Stock cars? Oh my gosh. Alan Reinhart has blown that thing up into a big deal. And all I will say is that maybe that's what Michael Heiner can tell us about on the Patreon show that he's going to start joining me on at his convenience. All right, let me tell you about the people who has made WFO Radio possible this year. Honestly, could never do it without these folks. Yes, the Patreons. If you want to support us, you can. You don't have to. It's only for people who really feel it. Like, let's help this guy out. Patreon.com/WFO Radio. You can go to the website. You can get there. And we do have specialized content. Right now, it's not that great, depending on who you are. Matt in Australia, Torque Calibration Services. I keep saying his name because he wants to support the show. He's down under, but he's got a great business down there, and we really appreciate him. We appreciate our worldwide audience so much. Marvin Rodak, this guy, he's been with us for over 10 years, selling coffee to our listeners. He ships it out, but the holidays is when it really gets good because it's a double whammy. You get great coffee, and you're getting a great gift sent to your people. 817-924-6821. Seeing Frank Hawley out there. Frank Hawley we were talking about Austin Coyle's Cayman. Oh my gosh, what a story. You get to hang with Frank Hawley. I think this is a great gift. You don't have to use it at a specific time. You can get a certificate and let the recipient pick when it's going to happen. But this is something that everybody, I think, should do. If I didn't already have my Super Comp license, I would love to go to Frank Hawley's and do the Dragster Adventure. I got invited to do the Dragster Adventure, and it was scheduled right as the pandemic was raging or something. It didn't work out. Samtech.edu, the School of Automotive Machinists and Technology. If you're a relatively young person, a veteran, you're wondering what to do with your life, and you're thinking, man, we need engine builders. We need machinists. We need CNC programmers. When I say we, I mean the sport, and I mean our great country. All these factories are coming back. Jobs are coming back. We're doing a lot of stuff things are happening. The infrastructure. They're going to invest a lot of money. They're going to need machinists. They're going to need CNC programmers, even if you don't want to be involved in racing, but why wouldn't you? Bernie Speed Shop. Josh Hart came on board mid-season with WFO. If you want to buy a classic car, go to Bernie's. If you want to sell a classic car, go to Bernie's. If you want to restore something, go to Bernie's. If you need your windows tinted, go to Bernie's. They're located in Ocala, Florida. They're right by Garlett's. And I asked Josh, I was like, how often are you there? He goes, every day, 7 days a week. When I'm not here, I'm there. So go see Josh. Thank you, Josh. Phillips Connect. This was a great relationship and will continue to be a great relationship. Mike Ashley, Justin Ashley, Jim Epler, these folks, Amber, everybody who has been so gracious to let me talk about Phillips Connect. Smart trailer technology. I know it's not, if I touch one person with the concept and explain to them that you need to learn more because it's going to keep your loads on time, it's going to keep them safer, it's going to keep your driver safer, it's going to keep your whole deal safer. Wheel hub, heating up, it tells you. Instead of having a tire blowout, you can stop it in advance. An ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. And that's what Phillips Connect is about. And they've got a lot of big, giant customers. And they're on board for several years with Justin. Thank you for supporting WFO Radio. FTI Performance Transmissions and Torque Converters. Is there a brand or a product that goes out and wins more than these guys? In the .90 ranks, in the big money bracket ranks, top dragster, top sportsman, pro mod. They've got a great product. They built a better mousetrap. And thank you to Paul Lee for wanting to be a part of WFO Radio. I think there's a guy, Paul Lee, who, you know, where it started and where it finished. You got to find your chemistry. And they found it. They found it. Took a year. It always takes longer. It always takes longer. Total Seal Piston Rings. The Hidden Horsepower podcast is running like gangbusters. You should all listen to it. We're getting ready for PRI. We're getting ready for the Engine Performance Expo. I'll be in the booth at PRI at Total Seal. And we're going to do a bunch of content there. But it's an exercise in ring seal. Why does it matter? We did those trackside tech talks this year, and I think everybody learned through those that ring seal is it the most vital element of your engine? It is if you don't have it. Because you got the best cylinder heads, and you got the best turbocharger, and you got nitrous, and you're losing all that power because it's blowing by your piston rings. Your cylinders aren't round. And who figured it out? Like, which of these companies out there in the world is the one that is on the cutting edge of this technology, figuring all these things out, and then sharing the knowledge with everybody in hopes that some of everybody will go to them and buy their products? They're helping people who don't use Total Seal rings to understand the theory behind it. And then hopefully you will use their product. And I hope you use their product too. As you refresh your engines during this off season, Total Seal. Call Keith Jones, call Lake Speed, call Kevin, call the guys over there. Total Seal. And remember, our WFO store is open during the off season. Like nobody's buying face coverings anymore. And I'm happy about it. But we do have cool shirts. We've got our drag racing shirts. We got our WFO Fire shirt. We've got one round at a time. We've got all kinds of good stuff up there in the WFO store. You can get there through the website. All right, a couple of final comments as I give you the points. Erica Enders by 242 over the next closest, Greg Anderson, who leapfrogged Double Aaron in the final race. Erica, Greg, Aaron Stanfield, Troy Coughlin, Kyle Koretsky, 5th. Good job, Kyle. Matt Hartford, 6th. Dallas Glenn, 7th. Dallas Glenn, you know, that 7th is not indicative of his season. He did not have his best season, right? Those sophomore slumps are tough, but he also DNQ'd trying to knock out Erica a couple of races ago in Dallas. And I admire the gumption. Christian Quadra, Bo Butner, Derek Kramer, top 10 for Derek Kramer. They chased away a gremlin and finished in the top 10. Way to go, guys. Mason McGahey, Camry Caruso. Congratulations on Rookie of the Year, Camry. Fernando Quadra, Jr. and Senior, and Chris McGahey rounding out 15 competitors who all made the countdown. And then Pro Stock Motorcycle, Matt Smith by 82 over Joey Gladstone, by 91 over Angie. Jerry Savoy, 178 back. You better come back, Jerry. You better come back. Now, Jerry told me flat out the trial is wearing on him. He'll be at some races next year. but the truck will be out there. So we'll see. Steve Johnson, 203, Angel, 257, Eddie Craywick, 304, Mark Ingerson. Great season, Mark. Way to go, buddy. We got to get Mark Ingerson on the show, right? Like, he had a great year, 326. He's part of the conversation now. Isn't it funny how you go from being at the race to part of the conversation? Karen Stouffer, 357, Flying Ryan Ayler, 381, and Hector Arana Jr. Wow, an unbelievable end to the year. Unbelievable end of the year with Hector Arana Jr. Just amazing stuff, what happened with those guys. All right, that's going to do it. We're done for the week. I'll be back on some capacity next week, but I don't really know what that is. I'm going to try to dig out around here. I'd pay extra to sit at a picnic table under a shade tree than to sit in hot metal stance. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think a lot of people would. Especially on that other side of the racetrack. I know you, Steve. You've never been there. You wouldn't walk all the way around behind the tower to get there. And that's the situation at Auto Club Raceway. Like, that side is only accessible. There's no tunnel. It's only accessible by walking around the back of the staging lanes, around the back of the tower, through a narrow little area, and then you pop out on that side. I don't know. Maybe a media building or something. The good news is they've re-extended with In-N-Out Burger Drag Strip for 10 years. And so from the old putting rumors to bed deal, everybody was sharing that story about Auto Club Raceway going away this year. Yeah, not true. Fake news. Have Katie Chestis on one day. That would be nice. Man, did Steve Johnson fall apart? Yeah, he had a tough, I don't know. I don't want to look at it that way. This is so hard. I don't want to criticize anyone like that. As much as you're racing, Joe, you need a refresher. I don't think I do. But I would accept Frank Hawley's education on something a little faster. I showed up late next time Alan is on, asked him to expand on the comments he made about rewiring a Pro Stock car after painting it back in the day. Oh, yeah. I've heard that story. Grubby's first championship. What about the green light on Pro Stock cars? That's a Patreon school, and that's it. Okay, guys. To everyone out there that I shared time with at the awards ceremony and at the track, thank you. This was an amazing year. It was great. It was positive. I can't say anything better about it. We'll be talking on WFO for the rest of the year. Later, guys.